I have not played this for a while. It brings back painful memories. The baby. But I think it's time that I conquered my demons. 1994. What is this? Does this game think that it's a horror movie? I don't know what to tell you. All I know is there's a baby between two blue lines that are flashing at the top and bottom for some reason. There are some dead bodies underneath it. If I had had a baby, my own, I suspect she might not have realized they were dead bodies. Two computers on the sides, one of which has a different sized monitor than the other. Perhaps the right hand one is portrait, and the left is landscape. And the scientists were not killed by some monstrous alien, but rather by an internal feud over which orientation to use for the computer screens. With that backstory established, let's begin. I always erase my file when I finish it, for some reason.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
There's me. Despite the voice acting we just heard, it appears Nintendo opted to just use text for me. I can't imagine why they chose not to have me narrate the story. I have been told that my voice seems rather uninfused. Well, that's what happens when you run around space, shooting things and jumping in somersaults for no reason. I personally find it's quite relaxing to wander around hostile planets. Well, Nintendo made their decision, but I can narrate things myself now. There's a species called Metroids that were wiped out of the series after the third game. Somehow the series survived. The first time I faced these things was on a planet that can't decide how its name ends. I defeated the leader of a group called Space Pirates that somehow leads them, despite having no obvious way to move, or indeed do anything but just exist in a glass box that I shot with rockets. After I successfully defeated a brain, I went to the place where the vaguely English-sounding species that this series is named after. I went to their home world, which evidently nobody felt inclined to give a sensible name, SR388. I slammed them all, except for some reason, a baby, which despite my entire goal being to extinguish them all, I brought with me. It seemed like an excellent idea to take this thing to a research station so that scientists could conduct research on it. I am not aware of any case where such a thing has gone wrong. In a shocking turn of events, it turned out maybe this thing could be put to some kind of use inside a tube in the middle of a room. So I left to try and find something to do with myself that doesn't involve Metroids, but of course Nintendo wouldn't allow that to happen. So 5 minutes after me leaving the researchers were in trouble. Nice work, guys. Oh well, and here we are. I am now going to traverse my way through this sinister, empty research station, which these scientists somehow navigate, despite the 10-foot drops. Well, I suppose in these 2D platform games, you have to take some things with a pinch of salt. It occurs to me as I run through these corridors, why is there a blue haze? Maybe for the same reason there is a map in the top right. Nintendo felt it was very important that this single path research station had a clear map for me to follow, just in case I got lost, in case I accidentally turned in the opposite direction from the one I was just going in, and forgot that I was supposed to be going the other way. Thanks, Nintendo. Always thinking of the players. Oh no, the capsule that had the baby in it has been broken. What a surprise. Oh, it's just here. I guess it just got misplaced. Well, the mystery's solved. I'll just stand here for 10 seconds. What's this?
Aran! You'll never take me baby alive, you keel-hauling ship lover!
Oh no, You will not get away with this, Ridley.
I got away with naming myself after the director of some cheesy old space films, and I'll get away with this. I be a dragon of the sea, the space sea. I fly through the ocean of space, using wings. Wings that would technically only let me fly in regions with atmosphere, something that space lacks. Arg. Shorten shuttle, batten down the Hadron Collider. Arg, 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 arg. X marks the Spock. Arg, 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 'cause I eats me spinach. Oh wait, wrong thing. Dilithium Jones's locker. Thunder and Fantoons. Oh, I got a brand new combine harvester. Blue blistering Buzz Aldrins. Splice the mainframe. Etc. If you'd had an ounce of skill at this, lass, you would have been able to get me to drop the capsule, and then stand there and let me pick it up again. And they say chivalry's dead. Yo ho ho! I'm out of here. Ha ha! You can walk the airlock for all I care. That's the last you'll be seeing of me till the final 10th of the game. Just kidding, I'm right here.
Oh, Ridley, have you decided to join me as I play this old game?
That'd be right. I'd be tarred and absence a feathered before I skipped this.
I see. That's fine with me, but I don't really care. Right now I have to escape, because thanks to you, I have to go back to that planet with the identity crisis to find a vaguely Englishly named alien. Well, it appears as though this research base naturally has a self-destruct sequence, so I had better leave within the minute provided.
Pieces of faster-than-light travel.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, at least those clouds can't hurt me. As you can see, my 28 energy up there is unchanged. It's also extremely fortunate that I had this map to guide me on my way back along the straight line. Oh no, the screen has turned for no real reason other than to show off the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 graphical effects. And there we are. I escaped. I don't know where my giant yellow ship was parked, but it was parked. After that dreadful turn of events, I'm just going to assume for no good reason that Ridley went to this place. Well, I'm glad you're sticking with me, my friend. The closest thing I have to a friend in this series. Unless you count that guy. What was his name? Adam. He's dead. Right, time to explore the inevitably constrained area that I have access to at this point, while I slowly hunt around the planet for devices that I can use that are somehow here, so that I can explore more and eventually fight you, Ridley, and complete this adventure.
Arg!
I don't know who designed these doors that have to be shot to open. It seems somewhat inefficient, designing a door that you have to blast with 5 rockets to open. But I did not design this planet.
Space Pirate Design 101.
I see. Are you also the ones who installed these mechanical-looking grey blocks amongst all of the natural ground?
No, that was just there already.
I really appreciate the random mess of purple blocks that you all installed here. Makes my life so much easier. I can't help myself somersaulting to get everywhere. It's just what I do. Where have I gone? I've disappeared. Oh no, I'm still there. Well, back to the starting area of the first game, to find the same item that was here in the first game. I don't remember coming back to this place after that game and delicately placing that ball back there, but I did. This part of the game always seemed very creepy to me. I feel that Nintendo was trying to build up an atmosphere of dread. The suspenseful, haunting music that accompanies me as I roam the silent, eerily empty corridors.
You be giving me goosebumps, lass.
Oh, really, Ridley? I never imagined you were such a fraidy cat.
I've only got one thing to say to that.
And what would that be?
The one thing I'm not. No, the one thing I'm not. I say the one thing I'm not is a fraidy cat.
Yes. I couldn't have put it any better myself, Ridley.
Where be you going anyway? You gotta go back out where you came in at this bit.
Yes, I know, but as you can see, my skeletal soulmate, I was able to acquire 5 more missiles at this early stage of things. Yes. And now, I trust, if my memory serves me correctly, yes, this is the part where you twerps all suddenly appear out of absolutely nowhere. For no reason, other than to frighten me, I suppose. I believe this was the setting of the final battle of the first Metroid, in which, again, I heroically struggled against an unmoving brain. I always felt that these pirates looked like they were wearing long bottoms. I suspect that is not the case.
Aye, it's not the case. You got microbes in your eyes.
Oh no. You're in one of those moods again?
Smoke gets in your eyes! This is the night! I'm gonna hit the streets, 'cause this is the night, yeah, it's the night to go trick or treat!
I am calling your bluff, Ridley. I don't think you have trick or treat where you come from.
Aye, well, today I wish we did have. So I'm taking it now. I'm a pirate after all.
Yes, now, please excuse me, Ridley, for this moment. I have decided it would benefit me, since it's been years since I played this game, to download a map in this corridor. The Metroid games, in case you have forgotten yourself, Ridders, notorious, very complicated, intricate map structures that I have to traverse. Any given Metroid game usually consists of a single large world that may be split into sections, but which I nevertheless can explore the entirety of. I can always go back to any area I've been before, and I am always trying to find new areas to go. I will be gradually discovering new power-ups that I can use to access places and areas I could not reach before, and also to go back to older areas to find new ways to go from there that may perhaps lead into other sections of later areas. Yes, the Metroid series, yes, these games can be confusing, so I need that map.
Is that what they call backtracking, lass?
Yes, it is. Backtracking is the name of the game.
Aye, that'd be controversial these days.
Yes, it is. Perhaps that's why they made about 5 of these traditional Metroid games in the last 30 years.
I have noticed your series doesn't get much attention.
Well, at least I get more than F-Zero, or Star Fox, or pretty much anything that isn't Mario or Zelda.
Aye, no need to be bitter about that. You've got your classics.
Yes, my classics, such as this, which people apparently enjoy so much that they constantly try to find ways to avoid playing parts of the game.
What do you mean?
The only reason anybody comes back to this game anymore is because it was so badly programmed that you can skip 90% of the things that programmers expected you to do through the use of glitches and programming oversights. Nobody wants to play my game, they just want to finish it in 5 minutes. I've always been upset at this. But at least, since I'm playing it myself, I'll finally be able to experience the whole thing for the first time in all these years. At the end of this corridor I found a bomb, which I can use when I am that ball that I can somehow inexplicably turn myself into. Oh, what's this? The statue was a monster.
Ah, Teraizo, so this be where you got to. I've been searching for you for 24 years. Samus, why didn't you tell me this is where he was?
You never asked.
Arrgh!
I'd better be careful with contending with this thing. Oh no, he's now dripping. White fluid. I suppose that's supposed to be blood out of the gaping wound in his chest. This seems oddly violent for an old Nintendo game. Oh well. He has now been successfully defeated. And as a reward, he's been kind enough to give me a massive pile of rockets.
Even in death, the space pirates are always, thoughtful.
Yes, they are. So thoughtful, in fact, that they apparently left all these statues around the planet for me, specifically for me, to absorb those specific powers, specifically created for my suit. Specifically,
We didn't put those things there.
is that so? And yet you left them lying there in places that you knew I could access.
Yes.
Good going there. But now we have the bombs. As you can see, I can now bomb these blocks and shoot the doors. What is through here? The map shows me that there is an empty room. That blue square means it's a place I've not been. The pink squares are places I have been. Why pink? I don't know. Presumably because I'm a girl. The places with which I am not familiar are blue, like boys, and the places with which I am familiar are pink. What kind of message is Nintendo trying to convey here? I don't know.
I can't say I ever would have thought of that myself, lass.
No, I would not have said such a thing either. But apparently, sitting here now with you, commentating over this ancient game, has brought these sentiments out in me. I wonder what else we'll find together. Well, one thing we'll find is something I did recall. Another hidden missile beneath there. If I find all the hidden missiles and other upgrades in this game, and get a 100% completed item ratio at the end, I get absolutely nothing.
Oh. That's a bit disappointing.
Isn't it? The only thing that gives you a different ending in this game is how quickly you complete it. Even the programmers knew that people just wanted to be done with this as fast as possible. Why does nobody like my game, Ridley? I don't understand. It's almost enough to traumatize me.
There'll be nothing would traumatize you, lass.
Yes, you're right, Ridley. What am I saying? If there was anything in this world that could shake me to my very core and paralyze me in sheer terror, I would have found it by now. I seem to recall there was something that caused me tremendous distress, but it slipped my mind right now what that was. Perhaps I'll remember later.
Aye, maybe so.
Baby. Well, your old friend Teraizo has been defeated. And now I have the bombs. As I said, I can explore more places. Isn't that nice, Ridley? I am pleased with this development. Now I must traverse up here. I must avoid that turtle that somehow flies through the air and those purple things that just wander. So now I have to bomb this obvious, easily noticeable wall.
I don't think I would have noticed that, lass.
No, I don't think you would either, Ridley.
Hey, I hope you're not making fun of me.
No, it wasn't. I appreciate you might find it hard to tell whether or not I am being sarcastic, since I fail to alter my tone of voice for any reason whatsoever. I have acquired an energy tank. Now I can take another 100 hits, which will be useful as I run down this corridor and shoot each of these space pirates one by one, while all of them react in the exact same way. I can see why they put you on guard duty, because you certainly did a good job of not reacting to the loud rocket explosions coming from just above your heads. No, and instead walking forward slightly and then looking left and right in a two-dimensional game.
I don't be appreciating these comments you're making about the space pirates, lass. We've honed our craft over the course of centuries, I tell you. It just so happens that you know how to shoot missiles. If it wasn't for you, I'd have had that baby and sold it on the black market by the end of this.
Oh no, you've just spoiled the game, Ridley. The viewers now know that you do not get away with the baby.
Ah, who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? Nobody. People only care about getting through this as fast as possible.
Steals not deals. 50% discount on flat-screen radiators at Salvage World. Ah.
Is that so, Ridley? Perhaps these strange mushroom-like objects are supposed to enable a system in detecting me. Well, they didn't. Maybe those are just natural life forms on this planet. Natural life forms, such as that strange yellow thing with the red stuff inside it, which, upon being shot, causes small things to jump out. Your world, planet ZBs, or ZF, or whatever, is quite strange.
You see plenty of strange stuff when you're flying through space.
You don't have to tell me that. Anyway, now we have made it to the second world for all intents and purposes, Brinstar. The last one was, we were just in Crateria. Even though this game has no worlds technically, this is basically a world. I will run into this room. What's this? Oh, I forgot. The floor gives way, but at least I can get that missile. I shall have to return here later, when I have again acquired some manner of power that allows me to do something new. That is the entire essence of this game, in a nutshell. Going back to places I've already been, when I can do things that I can then do. Why do people enjoy these games? I would rather have all of my powers from the start. It would make my missions a lot easier. Unfortunately, the Intergalactic Space Federation, or whatever generic name the organization I report to goes by, despite me being a bounty hunter, insists on removing all my equipment every time I go on a new mission. I don't understand why that happens. I have heard that there is a strange planet somewhere called Earth, where a similar thing happens to a blue robot named after a letter of the alphabet. I feel sorry for him. Oh well. I have now acquired the map to Brinstar. But unlike the Space Research Station, in which I was sarcastically, if you couldn't tell, saying that the map was useful, this map actually is useful, because Brinstar is a complicated place. I have to use 5 regular missiles to blow up the red doors, or 1 super missile to blow up the green doors. The blue doors can be shot with normal bullets, or normal whatever those little yellow things are that come out of my gun. It is convenient there are fireflies to light my way down here. Down here to this missile recharge station. Thank you, Ridley, for placing this recharge station at the end of that massive pit of spikes.
You've got to earn your rewards in my domain.
Yes. Is it you, Ridley, who constructed all of these elaborate spike traps and other such obstacles in this planet?
Never mind about that. What I'd like to know is why this underground-looking pink wonderland place is snowing.
Snow, yes, indeed. It does indeed appear there are flakes dropping from the ceiling of this pink thing. I don't know what this pinkness is, and it seems as though neither do you, Ridley, but never mind. Although, while I can't vouch for the nature of the pinkness, it would appear as though the Super Mario Brothers had something to do with these green pipes sticking out of the ground. Unfortunately, it appears I cannot go down them and into a bonus area that contains coins in one of a predetermined set of such room layouts. one of which is extremely obnoxious if you are not Super Mario, or Super Luigi, or these days, you could also count Super Murphy and Super Captain Blasters, the two toads who keep appearing in these games these days, for some reason.
I'd be curious to get your opinion on this series, lass. Since you're the star, and you keep thwarting all me plans.
My opinions on the Metroid series. Let me see. I would be happy to discuss this subject in your presence, Ridley, but I am more concerned at present with this large green conker-looking thing by which I am presently being accosted.
Conker what? Conker? Are your thrusters in a flurry, girl? That'd be a chestnut.
Oh yes, I was forgetting that I am not English, and do not call chestnuts conkers. You see, in the country of England, children take these things from trees, and then burrow a hole through the center, insert a string, and then make the chestnuts hit each other until one of them breaks.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not English. My name is Samus. Does that sound like the name of an English woman to you? I thought so. Unfortunately, unlike conkers, this otherwise invulnerable creature chooses to open itself up and expose its weak point for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I have beaten that thing. I will now jump up on top of it and go over there.
You just walk over there, Samus.
Oh, what's this? Oh no, it's a trap. Ridley, curse you. I forgot about this. Although since that was a green pipe, it looks like this really has turned into Super Mario Bros. Even back then, Nintendo just could not resist milking that series dry. Fortunately for me, Ridley, your trap was completely useless because I still got the super missile. Why did you even create that trap in the first place?
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yes, doesn't it always? Oh no, I am trapped.
Oh, that's the reason, yes. I trapped you with that super missile block.
You did indeed, or rather you would have, if I had not just acquired the super missiles in the room in which your trap placed me.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Perhaps, Ridley, you should not design traps in future in areas that you are physically too large to enter. For that matter, Ridley, how did you even get into the research station at the start of the game? Those corridors were clearly too small for your body to fit inside.
Let me tell you something, Samus. I've never sat down with you to see you play one of these games before, and I can see why. You're tearing this thing to Space Shanty Pete's pieces. I mean, it wasn't easy fitting in that thing, but I did it.
I do have a habit of overanalyzing my games, as it seems all characters who play their own games do, going by this series. But to return to the topic which you were just about to bring up earlier, Ridley, I'll talk about the Metroid series. The series began with a game called Metroid. The plot was that you space pirates had stolen some Metroids, which are small green things with little red balls inside them for no reason, that latch on to creatures' heads and literally suck the life out of them. The reason the space pirates stole them was to use them as weapons of war. Personally, I feel that using small creatures that float over to someone and spend half a minute sucking their health away before moving on to the next person to suck the health from would be a tad inefficient when dealing with thousand-strong armies, or indeed spaceships, tanks, or any manner of vehicle, or armor, or basically anything that could possibly get in the way of the Metroids sucking things dry. And again, the Metroids can penetrate my armor,
Samus, you're losing the plot. We wanted those things because they're indestructible.
Oh yes, that's right. The only way I can kill Metroids is by shooting them with an ice gun, which freezes them, at which point I can then use missiles on them that cause them damage while they're frozen, which would not otherwise damage them. Yes, you're right, Ridley. How could I have been so foolish? The Metroid's only weakness is cold temperatures. I see now why you would choose these things to be your ultimate war weapon. I must interrupt myself once again to remark that despite the change of music here, and despite moving into a very mechanical looking place, we are still technically in Brinstar.
Yo ho 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 ho, a bottle of rum, tulips from Amsterdam.
Yes, yes, that classic song. I remember that song. Yes. I always thought that snapping green thing down there had a face. It looks like a rather grumpy old man's face. Do you see it, Ridley?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's just one of those space cactuses we imported from B457245.
Oh yes, of course. That planet. Anyway, I don't think I knew when I was on this mission why I was in this area. Of course, now I know. It was because I had to go this way to get my next thing, to access more of the game. But back then all I knew was I was just randomly wandering around trying to find things to do. Oh well.
Well, you can do anything but lay off of me blue suede shoes.
Now we are leaving Brinstar. You can tell when you are switching between worlds in this game because of that elevator that I use to access them. Except, of course, when you access a different area without using one of those elevators, which happens on a frequent basis. This is Norfair.
Ah, that's right. I'd recognize this place in a space beat.
Space beat?
Yes, space beat.
I am calling you out, Ridley. You just made that word up.
Shut your face.
I have the high jump boots. Can you guess what they allow me to do?
I'd guess they allow you to jump high.
Congratulations, Ridley. You guessed correctly. You win the prize.
Oh, what's that?
The prize is... shut your face. In the first Metroid game, I went to the planet where you were holding all these Metroids and proceeded to get killed and to stumble around, hopelessly lost, bombing every single wall over and over again, desperately trying to find where I was supposed to go. Over the course of this, I randomly stumbled on various upgrades and bosses to defeat by randomly bombing the correct wall, bombing the correct blocks, out of the tens of thousands of blocks that could possibly be bombed. That was a fun game. I defeated you, Ridley, back when you looked completely different from how you do in this game, and indeed now, as you sit beside me in that rather undersized chair.
Yeah, where'd you put the big one?
It is currently in the garage. Would you like to go and get it?
No, I can't be bothered with that.
I eventually found the boss, Mother Brain, who, as I recounted in the introduction to this game, sat there while I shot its tank with rockets.
We never thought anyone would make it through the Metroids. We just put some guns there as a precaution.
No, you didn't, Ridley. What you put there was some things that generated circles that moved slowly towards me that I could easily shoot down.
It wasn't me that said... It wasn't my decision to put those there. It was Mother Brain.
Yes. She certainly is the brains behind the operation. Frankly, I was glad to be done with that, because what the Nintendo Entertainment System's sound chip was not able to recreate was that the whole time I was blasting Mother Brain with rockets, she was shouting at me in her ridiculous, over-exaggerated deep South American accent that I do not feel inclined to mimic for the sake of the story. I defeated her, and then that activated the self-destruction sequence that you space pirates can't seem to resist putting everywhere you go.
You gotta have a backup plan in case some goody-goody two-shoes like yourself comes along and foils our plans.
I sense you still have some bitterness towards me, Ridley.
Be space under the bridge now.
Yes. We are all friends now. It does not look like I will get any more games anyway. Nobody seemed to like that last one. I personally enjoyed it greatly, because Nintendo finally allowed me to voice over my new game. I can't seem to recall, Ridley, however, if you were in that game. My mind is mysteriously drawing a blank on that for some reason.
It is?
Yes, it's strange. It's as if my mind was attempting to prevent me from remembering if I encountered you in that game.
Well, no need to dwell on that.
No, because I have only just started my retrospective on this series. Oh, look at this. This room is quite intimidating, and there is even a fellow here who it would appear has passed away. Well, rest in peace. I wonder who that was. Perhaps it's Adam. Yes, maybe Adam. Maybe Adam's dead body somehow got here just because. Who's this? Oh, it's Kraid, who is considerably larger in this game than he ever was in the original game that I just described. However, despite this, he has a weak point. When I shoot his eyes, for some reason, he chooses to open his mouth, through which I can shoot rockets. The players of this game, who try to finish it as fast as possible, are able to finish this battle before he can outgrow the ceiling. But we defeated him, and that's that. I now have an orange suit.
Looks ridiculous.
Do not question my fashion sense, Ridley. This is my favorite color combination. After I escaped in the self-destruct sequence, I emerged on the planet's surface, and rather than getting in my spaceship and leaving at once before the place blew up, I stood there and stared at the camera for a while. If the player successfully completed the game quickly enough, I also took off most of my clothes. I did not enjoy that experience. I also had to hold my breath, because I was not wearing a spacesuit. I don't understand, Ridley, why Nintendo asked me to wear those clothes. Was that supposed to be some kind of reward? Oh well. Ridley, would you kindly assume the controls for a while?
Okay, but why?
Because before we end our session for today, I wish to address something that, much like the compulsion of players of this game to skip as much as possible that I mentioned earlier, I am deeply concerned by. You see, it appears, possibly because people have broken this game so much as to have forgotten the original plot. I don't quite know how it happened, but the misimpression has apparently spread, Ridley, in our extensive fan base, that we are both high school students.
What?
And that you... well, my scanners have identified a document detailing what our players have come to believe goes on in between these bounty hunting missions. I believe at this point I will let the story speak for itself. May I read it out for you, my friend?
Yes, I'm curious to hear this.
Okay. I would advise, however, Ridley, that you brace yourself for what you are about to hear. Ahem. Chapter 1, The Big Dance. It was 3 days before the big dance. Ridley walked up to Samus. He was really nervous. He had never gone on a date before, and Smouse was really, really pretty. So he finally got enough courage and went up to her locker.
Stop right there.
What is the problem, Ridley? Is there something in the passage I just read that concerns you?
Yes, there is! What on earth was that about going on a date?
Samus. That was spoken by you, Ridley, incidentally. Samus looked up. What do you want? By the way, this is not in the script either, but I feel compelled to point out that the word you in what do you want was in fact just the letter U, lowercase. I understand that humans sometimes replace words with shorthand versions that are easier to type. Evidently, it took significantly less effort for the author of this to type a one-letter word on a keyboard than a three-letter word. Do you, do you want to go to the dance with me? Samus said okay. Ridley was really, really happy. He was going to go on his first big date. Wow, thought Ridley. I hope Samus is my girlfriend.
Alright, just stop right there.
Ridley, I am getting the rapidly growing impression from the expression on your face that you are displeased with the direction the story is taking. I will continue, Ridley. I'm the luckiest guy in the school. 3 days later, it was the big dance. Everyone was there.
Who's everyone? What is this? Where are we? Is this in space? Is this on a planet? What? We don't have high schools on ZX199884182577793.
I am fully aware of that, Ridley. However, I am aware of a nearby planet, F55255535, which does. That is also a planet with which I am familiar from my childhood, so I am inclined to suspect that this is perhaps based there.
You're not thinking this out. You're not giving this trash credence, are you?
No, Ridley. However, it does amuse me. I shall continue the story. Hey, Ridley, a voice sneered. It, exclaimed Ridley. Oh no, it's Kraid and his gang. Over walked Kraid and his cronies. What do you want, Blubber Brain?
Blubber Brain?
Samus inquisited. Well, looks like little Ridley's got himself a girlfriend. Ooh, watch it, Blubber Brain, or it'll blow you and your little crew way up in the air, Samus responded. Kraid's eyes narrowed. Looks like you win this time, but don't you worry, we'll be back. Come on, boys, Kraid declared. Everyone in Kraid's gang laughed and walked away. Samus and Ridley were all alone. Don't mind those people, Samus. They're stupid people. Yeah, I know, answered Samus. Then the music started playing really slow. People everywhere stared slow dancing. Hey, Samus, do you want to dance? Ridley proposed. Again, leaving the script for a moment, I noticed that your name, Ridley, is spelled without the E here, despite it being spelled with the E everywhere else. I am somewhat confused by the regular replacement of normal words in this story so far, with slightly altered variations on those spellings. I don't know what to make of this, Ridley. This may come as something of a shock to you, but I am not particularly familiar with literary interpretation and English critique. But perhaps the deliberate misspelling of accepted terms does in fact have a deep, author-intended meaning that English professors will spend decades analyzing in a vague attempt to be useful. Perhaps my visor is getting muddled, but as I occasionally catch a glimpse of you between paragraphs, Ridley, a steadily growing anger rising within you, perhaps I am seeing things, for it also appears as though your skeletal structure, which makes up your entire body, is becoming even more red than normal. Anyway, I shall continue. In case you have forgotten the point at which we left the story, you, Ridley, or rather, you with the E removed from your name, asked me to dance. Samus looked down. I never learned how to dance before, she declared. Ridley smiled. Don't worry, it's easy. Samus smiled nervously. Also, again leaving the script, there was a quotation mark at the start of the sentence. Samus smiled nervously. I am unclear whether to take this to mean that one of us said Samus smiled nervously. Although I do not read much, I am going to make the bold assumption that this was simply a mistake, or again, a deliberate stylistic convention that the author chose to use in writing this account of our supposed high school lives. Samus smiled nervously. Okay, and they stared to dance. Wow, Samus alleged. It's really easy. And they danced until it was time to go home. At the end of the night, Samus, I love you, Ridley declared. Really? Inquired Samus, with a question mark. Yeah. Ridley. Yeah, Samus. I love you too, Samus described. And then in the soft moonlight, the two lovers kissed, but then it was cut short because Samus had to go home now. See you tomorrow, Samus, Ridley exclaimed. Thought Ridley. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And that, Ridley, was the end of Chapter 1 of this story my scanners provided me with to fill me in on the general opinion of our normal lives and of our relationship, Ridley. What did you think of that? You do not respond. I am going to assume that the intensifying anger that has been increasingly apparent from your face over the course of this story has become so extreme that you are not even capable of speaking. Personally, well, as for my opinion, I have to say, although this is a historically inaccurate recollection of events, I was nevertheless greatly entertained. Perhaps Nintendo themselves will be inspired to resurrect my series and make a game based on this. Well, I look forward to that day, Ridley. Although I must say, the part of the story I find most unbelievable is that I would accept the advances of a 10-foot-tall biomechanical space dragon. What is it, Ridley? Again, my visor might be acting up, but I got the faint impression that you flinched at that statement. Have I shaken you out of your rage?
Are you finished with that story now? Do you want to take back the controls?
I'd be delighted to, my friend. Oh, but there are 7 more chapters to this.
I think that's quite enough.
If you say so, Ridley. Perhaps we shall return to this at a later date. I will bear in mind the writer's name, 111 Samus Ridley 4 Eva 2006-Chan. In the next installment, Ridley, you can look forward to Sleepover of Surprises, Part 1, which, going by this table of contents, is never followed up with a Part 2. This will also be followed by Samus is Pregnant, and then the Cholera Conspiracy, The Dark Surprise, Samus Joins the Football Team Prequel 1, Election Insurrection, and finally, Endgame: Finale.